Linda Hogan is co-founder of hOurworld Cooperative. It's a cooperative of time banks, and it provides software for a membership fee as well as guidance for those who want to start time banks in their communities. Time banks are where members of a community exchange their own services or expertise for those of others. The hOurworld Cooperative is a global endeavor, so you can even travel around the world while doing that. Bon appetit.
Well, see, there are 9 kids in my family, and I had 2 grandmothers, maternal and paternal, that were wonderful, and one made an orange soup during the Depression and raised her 7 kids on that, but it was a family favorite. It was basically getting bones from the butchers in the old days with the marrow, and loading it with vegetables, of which carrots were predominant, so it became orange. And it was always my father's favorite, was that orange soup. On my mother's side, it was oatmeal raisin bread. And when we were kids, we used to sit on the floor in the kitchen, and she would be baking the bread, and we would just wait for it to come out so we could slice it up with butter. So I think the combination of those 2 savory, sensual smells always makes me think of my heritage. And now I guess I look at it as stone soup, which anybody can make anywhere. My name is Linda Hogan. I'm a social architect and one of 3 worker owners of hOurworld Cooperative. So hOurworld is a cooperative business in Maine that we created, the 3 of us created almost 4 years ago now. We decided that we wanted to provide free software, information, and social architecture to communities, not just in time banking or service exchanges, but we really are about gathering stories and finding out the cool things that are happening around the country and now around the world. So the business plan was to meet as many people as we could, hear their stories, share other inspirational stories from other places in the country where things were happening, back to the land movements, transition towns, time banks or service exchanges, what's happening in buy locals, farmers markets, grange halls, anywhere that people are reinvesting in social currency and community capital. Yeah, or social capital, there's a lot of different terms for it, but relationship currency. I think it's the reclaiming of who we be and what we have to offer. So it's our gifts and talents and our investments in ourselves and our neighbors and our land. It's reclaiming who we are, remembering who we are, and knowing that we're each precious, that we're each talented and vibrant and have something to offer, and more importantly, that it's okay to receive back. I guess we believe that social capital and current social currency is about flow. So it's what's coming in and going out. One of the problems that many people identify with the standard currency, money-driven system that we have is it's really one way. It's intangible, it's a belief system in a piece of paper that says that this is worth X. And it also means that somebody is perhaps more powerful, more than you. We believe that everybody is enough. Well, time banking or service exchanging has been around for about 50 years. Actually, the mother of it is a woman named Teruka Mitsushima from Osaka, Japan. She was a war veteran during World War II when her home and her parents' home was bombed, and she literally lost everything. Her husband was missing in action. She had 2 babies on her hips, and she didn't know how she was going to feed herself or take care of herself. But she could sew. The woman across the street also had children, also was widowed or scared and homeless, and she had food. So the 2 of them decided to exchange. She sewed, she exchanged for food. And Teruka kept that in her mind for years. And in 1973, she birthed what she called a time bank, the first of many, in Osaka. And it became a whole quiet movement in Japan that then grew and is now international, multinational. And it really is about people finding out that the only thing that really matters is people, that we are what it's all about. It's a cooperative. It's got 3 worker owners, Stephen, Beckett, Terry Daniels, and me. But we have members that we give the software to. So what we wanted to do with time banking is to make sure there was no barrier for people starting time banks. I've been doing this, I was a founding member here in Portland in 1996, and the software was a real issue. People were developing it all over the world, and they were spending money and they were spending time. Software didn't talk to each other, and it all became about that. They were missing the whole point of actually doing the exchanging, actually building the social currency. So we thought, okay, let's get rid of that and just give it away. Let's give all the information away we have, and let's find out more stories like Taruka's. We knew about Grace Hill Settlement House, which was the first time bank, then called a service exchange in the country, also started in the 1970s after the War on Poverty. So we went there and we interviewed people that were part of it, learned that they had created this time bank, which they called a service exchange, around a kitchen table. Low-income people that had very limited cash resources, but figured out among themselves that they were absolutely beautifully skilled in wealth for basic human needs. They could fix cars, they could do babysitting, they could walk dogs, they could take care of each other in a myriad of ways. And they set up the guiding principles, which are we're all equal, we have to have reciprocity, give and receive, we are assets in the community, and we each have something to give, and my favorite one is we are each precious. Anybody can join Our World. You can look us up online, fill out a simple form, and then you can be part of the Our World movement. You can look on the map and find out if there is a service exchange or a time bank near you. We recommend that you join an existing one. If there isn't one, there are all kinds of steps and information on our website that says gather 12 friends, have a pot of soup or a glass of wine or a cup of tea, sit down, read everything you can. There's all kinds of videos, there's all kinds of articles, and get the fever. Basically get the fever, make it contagious, bring your friends in. And when you're really committed, we give you the software, and we like to train people in groups. There's online videos, and there's also Skype training that Stephen will do, or maybe another person will help you with. And then locally, start exchanging. Just invite more friends, and the steps go on. And eventually, if you want training, we're there to do training for you. It's pretty amazing. In the last 3 years, we now have 21,000 members. We are in about 8 different countries at this time. We have exchanged over almost 1 million hours among all those exchanges. That's pretty incredible, because even if you think of $20, which is a little over $20 is the United Way's rate of service, 1 million hours at $20 an hour, that's social capital that we as people are investing in the places that we live. Well, we're in all states, and we are many cities. There's 188 different coordinators around the country, and it's growing every week. We're putting on new members every week, not only in the United States, but in other countries. Mexico and Canada were really easy, but now Time Banks UK, which has 30,000 members, has just adopted our software, so they're converting. So that's Northern Ireland, England, Scotland, and Wales. We have inquiries from New Zealand, from Australia, from the Philippines, from Taiwan, and we're working with all of those people. What we're trying to do is, again, remove the barriers. We're converting a lot of other softwares to Time and Talents. So the cool part, the most exciting part, is intertrading. Not only can we do trade within the United States, and first trade in your local neighborhood and then larger and across the country, but anybody that's using Time and Talents that agrees to intertrading, we will be able to trade anywhere Time and Talents is used in the world. I travel and I love it, so I'm thinking, okay, if I want to go to Scotland, I get myself to Scotland, hopefully frequent flyer miles, and could ask a member to pick me up at the airport, and ask somebody else if I could stay at their home. Maybe somebody tours me about the city or goes hiking or brings me to the coolest restaurant or where there's music or a museum. So all of that for time. In exchange, I could be doing services anywhere in the world for anybody else, because it's not a one-to-one direct exchange. I'm Irish, I'm from a big family, it's all about story for me, and there had been a lot of different versions of how time banking started. There were also all kinds of things rebirthing, back from the 60s, back to the Landers, the reclaiming of the Grange halls, the transition town movement was starting. So for me, and Stephen and Terry, we talked about this and we each had a different reason. My reason was I wanted to collect the stories. I wanted to find out and meet the people who began time banking. Where were they and why did they begin? Were they still around? What were the lessons learned? And there was a lot of healing. There was a lot of need to reclaim voices that had not been known, names that were not known. Find out who they be, why did they get excited about this and how could that inform my life? So it was deeply personal, and and very spiritual experience. Plus I love to travel. And what I found everywhere we went is that there are so many incredibly creative, vibrant, inspiring people all over the country that are, many of them living off the grid, many of them we don't see on the news at night. There aren't stories about them, but they are living really wealthy lives. They have incredible food and gardens. They have communities and people who love them, people who care about them. And they were so welcoming. You know, we would call or email and say, we're going to be coming to your town, and absolute strangers would say, oh, go to my house, it's at X Street, the key's under the rock at the end of the driveway, make yourself at home. That just, you know, really blew our hearts open more and more, because that was the normal response. More, better, more stories, more people, more connections. The world peace. I say that not in jest. It really is. I guess we believe that really peace begins with understanding and knowing each other. We have been self-funded mostly for 3 years. We've had a few small grants, and we've received some fees for some software development we've done. And also we do receive some fees for training. But our belief in the economic system, okay, and it's real economic justice, is that it's totally upside down, backwards, wrong. The top-down model of paying up, of some senior god or goddess at the top having all the wisdom, all the answers, is just crazy. We believe the wisdom is inside us. We follow the Hopi line of we are the ones we've been waiting for. And when we do our trainings and our work, we believe in circle leadership. So all the information is in the room. We ask people, we facilitate discussions and ask them, what do they want in their community? What do they want to see happen? And how can we support them by giving them connections to other people who do that? So our long-term plan is that whatever revenue in the cash world comes in through marketing or through training or through grants will come in and go right back out. We call it watering the roots. That our percentage will be very small, and the bulk of it will be returned to pay for coordinators or brokers, local people who will manage the time banks.